Yeah, as I've said, like don't debate them in the media when you can debate them in the marketplace. But if truth is on your side, by all means, feel free to debate them in the media too. I do think Brett's sustainability episode is one of his best. It's a mind bender. It will challenge many of your deeply held assumptions. It's worth reviewing. I remember the peak oil debacle when everybody was saying we're going to run out of oil, and then it turns out no shale and fracking came along. And we actually have unlimited oil. We just choose not to use it for other reasons now. But there's no shortage of oil on this planet, at least for the foreseeable future. And like essentially, it all boils down to knowledge. It all boils down to how much do we know, and the more we know, the more we can do with what we have. All the resources that we need are available to us on this Earth, in the solar system, in the asteroid belt, in the sun, in this galaxy, in even in empty space, so-called empty space. There's a lot of resources. It's just a question of how can we create a powerful enough or discover and utilize a powerful enough energy source to extract whatever resources we need and understand the processes required to convert one thing to another. Deutsch has a great definition of wealth. I define wealth as more practically as assets that earn while you sleep, but he defined it as at a civilizational level as the set of physical transformations that you can affect. And I think that's a very powerful one because it shows we're only limited by our knowledge. It's not to say you can't run out of things in the short term, but economic incentives are set up in such a way that as long as there isn't a lot of government interference, that creativity can help you out of that trap. Now, it does have to proceed at its natural level. There are not that many shortcuts in life, but I think we can find our way out of the so-called sustainability trap, which is really just a deeply pessimistic, the world is ending Cassandra approach that people like to take on a regular basis because pessimism is intellectually seductive. A lot of intellectuals tend to be pessimistic, which is not to say that being pessimistic makes you smart, but people confuse that. So they signal their intelligence by pessimism, whereas I would argue that pessimism is actually the opposite signal. The cynicism that goes with it, it shows a lack of imagination, it shows a lack of reading history, it shows a lack of actually looking at the arc of human progress. And if you fall into the trap of being a pessimist or a cynic or in victim mentality, I would say pessimism and cynicism is a societal level version of victim mentality. It's even worse than victim mentality. Victim mentality just keeps you down. Pessimism and cynicism, especially when articulated by very eloquent people, keep society down. And